Chapter 1 Forced Kissing of the Beautiful Schoolgirl. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Little darling, your gangster brother is here. In a hotel room, Chen Changliu saw the 21-year-old wife he had just picked up as soon as he entered the room. She had 2 ponytails and a pure and charming face with a smile, the JK adult short skirt suit, the small waist exposed, the socks just over the knee and the snow-white thighs between the 3-point short skirt, all showed the extreme temptation. Chen Changliu imagined the scene of riding a horse and whipping it in his mind, and the smile on his face never stopped, while he danced and removed his equipment. At this moment, his foot was tripped by the half-taken pants, and the whole person fell forward, with his hands still in the clothes. Bang! A huge pain came, and Chen Changliu lost consciousness. When Chen Changliu regained consciousness, he felt like there was a soft body under him. It must be a woman. This is the experience of 10 years of being in the flower garden, and the place where his hands pressed was full of elasticity. He used it slightly. A scream finally made Chen Changliu open his eyes, and then he saw the face of a beautiful girl in front of him. A pair of eyes as bright as autumn water just stared at him, a standard face shape, almond eyes, a beautiful nose, and red lips. Although he was frightened, Chen Changliu still remembered that beautiful face. This was his white moonlight in high school, Du Zhiqiu, the most dazzling student of Guangnan No. 15 Middle School. Not only did she have good academic performance, but she was also known as the most beautiful school flower in the history of No. 15 Middle School. Chen Changliu's brain was a little out of order. He looked down at the deformed ball in his hand, and then looked at the beautiful face that cried out in pain. Is it so real in the dream? No matter what, I didn't have the chance in my previous life, but I can have a kiss in my dream now. A milky fragrance came from the tip of his nose, and Chen Changliu kissed the slightly open red lips and took the initiative. Du Zhiqiu was confused now. She was about to enter the classroom, but she was knocked down by someone. What made her even more upset was that she actually had an intimate contact with the man who knocked her down. The double stimulation from above and below made her instinctively want to scream, but as soon as she opened her mouth, it turned directly into woo woo woo. Her first kiss that she had treasured for 18 years was gone. Du Zhiqiu was stunned, and Chen Changliu was happy. Suddenly Chen Changliu felt a pain in his mouth, and then he jumped up, and then he saw many students in school uniforms around him staring at him in amazement. The pain in his mouth and the surrounding situation told him that he was reborn. Having read too many Rebirth novels, he accepted it in a few seconds. Then he looked at Du Zhiqiu, who was getting up angrily. Oh my god, I actually kissed Du Zhiqiu forcefully, and where did I put my hands just now? Thinking of this, Chen Changliu raised his hands, licked his lips and laughed. At this time, the classmates around him finally reacted. Fuck. Fuck. Fuck, you bastard, what the hell is this? Fuck, you bastard, my heart is broken, I can't stand with you. The various roars made Du Zhiqiu's face, who had just climbed up, red as hell. When Du Zhiqiu stood up, he saw Chen Changliu licking his lips and staring at his hands. Du Zhiqiu didn't need to guess, she knew what this bastard was thinking, and she had already seen who was taking advantage of her, and a nameless fire came out directly. Dead bastard, stinky bastard, go to hell. After Du Zhiqiu cursed, he kicked Chen Changliu's calf, and this time he really hit hard. The pain finally made Chen Changliu come out of his fantasy state and return to reality. He immediately resisted in a panic, while holding his head and running away, screaming in his mouth. Oh my god, Du Xiaohua, you really hit me. Ouch, where are you kicking? It hurts, stop pinching me. Du Zhiqiu has always given people the impression of being more elegant and indifferent, giving people a more fairy-like feeling. Although he is also lively at ordinary times, this side of chasing Chen Changliu has never appeared before. This also made the students at the scene drop their eyes to the ground, but it did not make Du Zhiqiu's image in their minds collapse at all, but became fuller, because Du Zhiqiu with this side has more fireworks. Chen Changliu ran around in the classroom and corridor, and was freed from Du Zhiqiu's pursuit after the teacher came. Before Du Zhiqiu returned to his class, he left him a look. That said, you wait, this thing is not over, and in this process, among the many eyes full of envy, jealousy and hatred, there are 2 pairs that are particularly fierce, and the expressions on their faces are even more angry. Sitting in his last row, Chen Changliu grinned. Chen Changliu was very happy about his rebirth, and soon he began to think about how to go after his rebirth. His desk mate and best friend Crocodile looked at him with murderous eyes. Chen Changliu looked at him speechlessly. And said, "Crocodile, why do you need to look at me like this?" Crocodile gnashed his teeth and said, "Rogue, my white moonlight was actually tarnished by you, Shi Xiong, Laisai, damn, you are now the public enemy of all the men in number 15 middle school." Chen Changliu's nickname is Rogue. This nickname was passed down by Crocodile. After all, this nickname has followed Chen Changliu since junior high school. TCH, you are still a public enemy. What should I be afraid of after you have graduated? But don't say it yet, you were more pleasing to the eye when you were young. What's the meaning? It's not interesting. Do you know that what you just did was ungentlemanly? Chen Changliu said poof and said, "I don't want to be a gentleman. You have to do it yourself. I want to be a villain." Chen Changliu's words made Crocodile confused, and he said speechlessly, "Why do you want to be a villain? Isn't there an old saying? A gentleman is magnanimous, but a villain is long-term. I think I am very tall, so I must be a villain, or a real villain." Crocodile was immediately shut down by Chen Changliu's words. What the hell is this? After a long time, he gave him a thumbs up and said, "You're awesome, tell me what it felt like when you had the dragon grip and the forced kiss just now. Why are you so bold all of a sudden?" Chen Changliu glanced at him, smiled mysteriously and said, "What a forced kiss, you are wrong, we are in love with each other, we just don't tell you. Also, let me tell you, that's your sister-in-law. If she has any dirty ideas, she'll have to pay for it with 3 swords and 6 holes." The Crocodile was stunned, mainly because what Chen Changliu said seemed true. He looked at Chen Changliu with his mouth wide open and hummed. "I don't believe you, even if Miss Du is interested in a handsome guy like me, she won't be interested in you." Chen Changliu looked at him with contempt, then compared his height with his hands, and instantly beat the Crocodile into a frost-beaten eggplant. "You are a pretty boy with a height of 171 centimeters. You are a little bit worse than me in appearance. Besides being quite handsome, you have to have grades but not grades. You have to be tall but not tall. By the way, I remember you are 1 centimeter shorter than Du Jiqiu. What do you call this? The toad wants to eat the swan's flesh. Fuck you, you gangster, you're dead. I'm going to gather all the male compatriots to deal with you soon. You can't run away. You are cheating." Thinking of Du Jiqiu's terrifying influence, Chen Changliu suddenly felt a little cold, and he lacked the confidence to speak. Chapter 2: Unfair Father and Stepmother. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Changliu really enjoyed this way of communication with Crocodile. It had been several years since they had exchanged insults like this. Not everyone can chat like this. Crocodile, whose real name is Zhao Lin, was Chen Changliu's best friend from elementary school to high school. His family had a little money, so he could be said to be a second-generation rich man. In fact, he was very happy to see Zhao Lin in his rebirth, because in his previous life, Zhao Lin was sentenced to 10 years in prison because a woman cheated on him. The other party was richer and more powerful, and he had not been released when he was reborn. Next, filling in the application form was very simple. He applied for Lingnan University of Finance and Economics in the neighboring province, just like in his previous life. He only passed the second-tier line, so he could only apply for this school. When filling in the application form, Du Jiqiu's beautiful face appeared in his mind again. If there was no change, she should still apply for Zhongde University as in her previous life, although they went to school in the same city in their previous life. Due to the subsequent changes, Chen Changliu had to make good use of every bit of free time to work in order to continue studying, so they did not meet after entering university. Zhao Lin could only study in a junior college in his own province because of his poor grades. After filling in the application form, Chen Changliu ran away. Not long after he ran away, a bunch of people came to find him. They didn't come to deal with him as Zhao Lin said, but mainly to inquire about the relationship between Chen Changliu and Du Jiqiu. Du Jiqiu didn't come to trouble Chen Changliu. She was still ashamed and angry. The scenes of the short-term physical contact were still replaying in her mind, making her angry and ashamed. She was not interested in Chen Changliu. As long as a proud girl suddenly had such a thing in public, it would be impossible for her to remain calm, the kneading of the arrogant parts, the foreign objects that broke into her mouth and the final pulling. Whenever she thought of it, she wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl into. Her resentment towards Chen Changliu became stronger, and her teeth itched more. If Chen Changliu was in front of her, she would bite him to death. This bastard is usually not so brave. He has never crossed the line for himself. I don't know what's wrong with him. He has become so brave. Chen Changliu rode his new 3-layer 26-turn bicycle slowly on the road. Everything was so novel, the streets and alleys were full of music that would be familiar to later generations. There is a beautiful little girl, her name is Xiaowei, she has a pair of gentle eyes, she quietly stole my heart. There were baskets of glass bottles of Coca-Cola stacked in front of the noodle shop on the street. Well, it was the kind of bottled Coca-Cola that the gangsters in Hong Kong movies and TV dramas held the most. It was a head-exploding weapon. Passing by the gas station, the gasoline was still 3.3 yuan per liter, which was really cheap. The house price on the poster at the door of the real estate agency that had just appeared was still 1,500 yuan per square meter. In another 20 years, it would be over 10,000 yuan per square meter. After the novelty, Chen Changliu began to think about the future, only he knew the suffering he had endured in his previous life. Not only did he earn most of the money for college by working hard, but when he graduated, he was heartbroken to learn about his grandmother's experience. After finally getting out of this, while his career was tepid, he experienced the most painful things in a man's life. He had no money and his girlfriend ran away with someone else, and he was a spare tire and a bootlicker. Because he had no money, his 3-year relationship ended in vain. His girlfriend said, "You can't give me the life I want," and drove away in a BMW, spare tires and bootlickers. It's better not to talk about them, anyway. It's a blow. After experiencing all this, he became open-minded about emotional matters. It's better to be better to himself, and then he didn't get married before he was reborn. With a good appearance and figure, as well as a strong capital, he became a prodigal son who was very successful in the love field. According to him, if you are lonely and have no one to accompany you tonight, you can buy love for 500 yuan. If not, then 1,000 or 2,000 yuan. Although the shelf life is only one night, what is the use of love? Fuck love, I want to make money, and I have everything with money. Chen Changliu had a clearer idea of his future path, and only then did he remember his current situation. Chen Changliu had no love in his childhood. His parents divorced when he was less than 1 year old, and he lived with his mother, but his mother died when he was 5 years old, and he returned to his father. However, at this time, his father had already found him a stepmother and a younger brother who was 1 year younger than him. The stepmother was also an extremely powerful person, and his father was a man without his own opinion. So all the love of the whole family was given to his half-brother Chen Changliu. Remembered that since he could remember, all his clothes and shoes were worn by Chen Changliu, and he only had new clothes to wear when Chen Changliu couldn't catch up with his height. Before junior high school, the breakfast money for both of them was 50 cents a day, but Chen Changliu knew that Chen Changliu was $1. Not to mention doing housework, cooking and washing dishes after school were his, while Chen Changliu could do his homework without doing anything. When he was in junior high school, his family contracted 4 mu of land in the suburbs to grow vegetables. Not only did he have to get up in the morning and help pick vegetables before going to school, but he also had to water the vegetables after school in the afternoon. He still remembers that in order to play ball with his classmates as soon as possible, he carried a black bucket to water the vegetables. That bucket could hold 40 kilograms of water, 2 buckets each time, a total of 80 kilograms of water, and he was only 12 years old at that time. He still remembers that he couldn't even stand up straight when he first started carrying it. He also had to hoe the land with a hoe on weekends, and he could only go out to play after completing the task. This is why he doesn't look very strong, but he is actually very muscular and strong. This is also why the gangsters in the 15th middle school don't dare to mess with him, because it was beaten. Although his half-brother Chen Changliu also did it, he couldn't even reach half of his amount. Since he started junior high school, he began to rebel slowly. and the conflicts with his father and stepmother became more and more serious. Although his academic performance was not bad, Chen Changling's academic performance was indeed better than his, which made him even less popular in this family and among relatives and friends. Chen Changliu remembered that it was today that he would be kicked out of the house. Chapter 3. You don't have to chase me away. I'll go on my own. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Changliu returned home, and his half-brother Chen Changlin, who was a senior in number 15 middle school, had returned. Chen Changliu saw his princess car, looking at the beautiful princess car, and then at his new 3-story 26. Chen Changliu laughed to himself. When stepmother Li Xiaomei saw Chen Changliu, she said coldly, "What's wrong with you? You came back so late and asked me to come back before cooking. You are really not sensible at all." Chen Changlin looked at him with anger in his eyes and yelled at Chen Changliu, "Chen Changliu, why did you molest classmate Du Jiqiu? Do you know that your behavior is hooliganism?" Chen Changliu looked at Chen Changlin expressionlessly. He knew that Chen Changlin liked Du Jiqiu. The entire senior year of high school knew that Chen Changlin and Du Jiqiu were in the same class and both were top students. "None of your business, idiot." After saying that, he went directly back to the room, no longer caring about Chen Changlin and Li Xiaomei's attack on him outside the room. On the dining table, Chen Changlin looked at Chen Changliu angrily and said triumphantly, "Mom and Dad, the teacher said that there is no problem for me to go to CUHK. You promised to buy me a mobile phone if I get into a key university." In fact, he reported it to Chen Aigua and Li Xiaomei as soon as he came back, but now he said it just to show off in front of Chen Changliu, and he applied for the CUHK examination because of Du Jiqiu. Li Xiaomei smiled brightly and said while putting meat into Chen Changling's bowl, Okay, tomorrow Mom will take you to buy a mobile phone. My son is the best. He is the first college student in the Chen family. He is still in a key university. You have given our parents face, old Chen." As she said that, she glanced at Chen Changliu out of the corner of her eyes full of disgust, but she quickly calmed down. She looked at Chen Aigua and said, "His dad, Chongqing, has been admitted to a key university. I will call my relatives and friends tomorrow and tell them that we will hold a banquet when the admission notice comes out. What do you think?" Chen Aigua also nodded with joy and said, "Okay, you make up your mind." From beginning to end, Chen Aigua never asked Chen Changliu which school he had applied for. His father, "Our family's finances are like that. It is already very difficult to support the two of them to go to high school. Now the cost of going to college is much more than that of high school, and the family can only support one person to go to school. Changliu's grades are not good and he cannot go to any good university. I think it is better to let him work part-time to share the burden for the family and let Chongqing go to school well. In the future, the family will look forward to Chongqing." Just like in his memory, Li Xiaomei still proposed that he drop out of school and work. Chen Changliu did not refute, but looked at Chen Aigua. He wanted to see if his biological father still agreed with this opinion as in his previous life. When Chen Aigua heard Li Xiaomei's words, he simply thought for 3 seconds and nodded. It seemed that they had discussed it long ago. "Changliu, your mother is right. If your grades are not good, you won't be able to go to a good university, and you won't have a good job after graduation. It's better to go to work now, subsidize the family's income, and allow your brother to have better conditions to study. Our Chen family relies on him to become the head of the family." When Chen Aigua said the same words as in his previous life, the only glimmer of hope in Chen Changliu's heart disappeared. Chen Changliu remained silent. The other 3 people all looked at him. In his last life, he was silent for a long time and finally agreed to drop out of school. He compromised at that time, and in the end, his grandmother secretly gave him her own money, so that he could pay for the first year's tuition. However, this also became the beginning of his grandmother's misfortune. Chen Changliu regretted it more than once in his previous life, but now he is no longer him. Chen Changliu shook his head and said firmly, "No, I'm not dropping out of school, I'm going to college." When Li Xiaomei heard what Chen Changliu said, she said angrily, "Whatever college you go to, it will be in vain. It's a waste of money. Let me tell you, Our family doesn't have any extra money for you to go to college. I have spent a lot of money raising you for 18 years, and now it's time for you to repay the family. Starting from tomorrow, this family will no longer let you live and eat for free. You are an adult and we have no obligation to support you. If you don't go to work, get out of our house." When Chen Changliu heard this, he raised his head and looked at Li Xiaomei coldly, then at the expressionless Chen Changliu, and at the gloating Chen Changliu. "Okay, you don't need to rush me, I'll go by myself." After saying that, he got up and walked into the room, picked up his school bag, packed 2 sets of slightly newer clothes and some necessary things, and left the house without looking back. From beginning to end, Chen Changliu's father, Chen Changliu, did not say a word. When the door closed, Li Xiaomei's words came out. "Like others, running away from home, it won't work here. If you can, never come back." Chen Changliu never looked back at that home from beginning to end. He was completely disappointed with this home. Although this family raised him until he was 18 years old, the memories they brought him were not good at all. "If I become developed in the future, no, there is no if, I will definitely do it. Apart from giving them the necessary pension to repay them for raising him, there is nothing more." Chen Changliu carried his school bag and walked slowly towards the city. He counted all the money on his body and found a total of 968 yuan. This was already a huge amount of money for him, which could be enough to work as a waiter for 2 months. The salary is still high. You must know that the salary of a waiter in Guangnan City in 2003 was only 400 yuan. This was the reason he dared to leave that home. This is the money he saved from junior high school to high school. Especially in high school, because it was far from home, he went to school in the morning and went home after evening self-study in the evening. His daily living expenses were 5 yuan. In this era, a bowl of snail noodles cost 1.5 yuan, a plate of fried rice cost 2 yuan, and a fast food meal cost 3 yuan. 5 yuan was just enough for him to have breakfast, lunch and dinner. However, he often skipped dinner, or used 1 yuan to buy 3 big meat buns, saving the money, and then went home at 11 o'clock in the evening to eat some leftovers. In this way, he saved so much money over the years. Looking at the money in his hand, Chen Changliu smiled bitterly. This money was not enough for him to go to school. The current university tuition is about 3,000 to 4,000 yuan a year, plus accommodation, living expenses and other miscellaneous expenses. Saving a little will cost 8,000 to 10,000 a year. That means he has to earn 4,000 yuan in more than 2 months to go to college. Working as a summer intern for 2 months and earning 1,000 yuan is already pretty good, but it's far from enough. Don't think that it's easy to find ways to make money after Rebirth. After all, it's still difficult to make a single move without capital and connections. Even if you know which stock will rise, how can you make money without capital? He doesn't have a system that can make money by signing in, but Chen Changliu is not in a hurry. Rebirth also has its advantages, that is, the pattern, vision, and future trends, which are not comparable to people of this era. Now it's most important to find a place to stay. He put the money in the interlayer pocket of his school bag, and then took the school bag to his chest and carried it on his back. There's no way. He's also afraid that his money-making capital will be stolen or robbed, and then he'll really have to wander the streets. After all, thieves and robbers in this era are so arrogant. Chapter 4, Investigating the Market and Encountering at the Night Market. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As we got closer to the city, it started to get busy. Passing by an old lady selling fried sweet potato chips wrapped in flour, the aroma made Chen Changliu drool. I asked the price, 20 cents for a large piece. I bought 5 pieces, and took a bite. The skin was crispy, sweet and soft, and delicious. As he ate, Chen Changliu's eyes lit up. Yes, everyone can't live without food, clothing, housing and transportation. It's impossible to make money quickly from housing, transportation and food, but you can still make money with your own money in terms of clothing. Taobao has been established now, but few people know about online shopping. Everyone can only buy clothes in physical stores, and the profit is high. If you do it well, you can make a fortune in 2 months. The more I think about it, the more I feel that there is a way to do it. After having a clear goal, Chen Changliu found a small hotel in a village in the city and asked for a small single room for 20 yuan a night. the room is very simple, just converted from a private house. There is only a bed and a bedside table in the room. Although it is simple, at least there is an independent bathroom. Looking at the young self in the mirror, who he could only see in blurry photos in his previous life, he was still handsome, but the more he looked at it, the more awkward he felt. Chen Changliu's current hairstyle is the most popular messy hair of this era. It is not done with a clipper or scissors, but with a blade. The essence is the messy, prickly, and messy feeling. Hey, this hairstyle doesn't suit me. It wastes my handsome face. No, I have to get a haircut later. It took 5 minutes for Chen Changliu to take a shower, put on a set of clean clothes, and go downstairs directly. The night in the urban village is very lively. There are many hair salons. Chen Changliu just found one and walked in. After 15 minutes, Chen Changliu came out with satisfaction. Don't get me wrong, Chen Changliu is not only capable of 15 minutes. The hair salon he entered is a formal one. A clean and refreshing short crew cut can be solved in 15 minutes. It was already dark, and it was time to find out about the market. He was very tight on time, but he had no means of transportation, which was still very inconvenient. After thinking about it, he found a small store and called Zhao Lin and Pang Wei. It was already dark at this time, and the shops on the street had turned on the lights, including some hair salons with small pink lights. Chen Changliu could see some young people sneaking in when they passed by the doors of some hair salons with small pink lights, and then walking back again after 2 minutes. 20 minutes later, Zhao Lin drove a more flashy scooter and pulled Pang Wei over. Rogue, why are you here? Chen Changliu didn't want to hide it from his best friend, so he told the truth and his money-making plan. Too much. Is there any father who does this? It's a second-tier university, we can't even go there if we want to. Rascal, you have to continue studying. I still have some money, enough for your tuition. Also, the conditions here are not good. Why don't you move in with me? Anyway, my parents are rarely at home. Zhao Lin's parents are busy with business, so they don't have time to take care of Zhao Lin. They just give him money, so this guy has a lot of pocket money. Well, I agree with Crocodile's opinion. Rascal, with brothers here, you can go to school. Hearing the words of his two best friends, Chen Changliu smiled. He knew that nothing had changed. Okay, you can help me once, then what about the future? Now have a plan to earn enough tuition for school during the summer vacation. Hearing Chen Changliu's words, both of them were a little confused. They had never thought about making money. They all felt that it was a bit far away from them, but soon, the two of them became excited, because it sounded very cool, and hurriedly asked. Chen Changliu also said his thoughts. That's what I thought. I called you here because I want you to take me to the busiest night market nearby to check out the market. Zhao Lin was the most impatient, and he shouted, Let's go, what are you waiting for? Let's go to Fulan Street. The night market there is the busiest, and there are many beauties at night. Chen Changliu and Pang Wei were speechless. This guy is timid but addicted. He talks about beauties all day long, but he doesn't dare to confess. He is a legendary talkative person. Motorcycles are not prohibited these days, and there is no prohibition on pulling two people. It took 10 minutes for a car with 3 people to reach Fulan Street. The flow of people and various shouts brought fireworks to the city, which is about to disappear slowly in the future. At the entrance of the street, there are fruit sellers, and inside are clothes, shoes, bags and accessories, etc., and at the end are various snacks. It can be said that it integrates shopping and dining. There are quite a lot of young people visiting the night market, especially couples. At this stage, there are still few bars and KTVs, and young people don't have many leisure and entertainment projects at night. Visiting the night market is a good place. Zhao Lin and Pang Wei were also unreliable. They had forgotten their purpose and were only looking at beautiful women. Chen Changliu was carefully observing the popular clothes. The bell-bottom pants that were popular in the past 2 years are no longer in the market. Ordinary jeans, casual pants, and shirts are the most popular. However, in Chen Changliu's opinion, the fancy clothes with all kinds of colors are really not good. The prices range from 25 to 50. If the prices are high, there will be no market in such a night market. According to Chen Changliu's understanding, the price of clothes is at least double the purchase price. During this period, Chen Changliu also found a manager of a pedestrian street and asked about some of the conditions of setting up stalls. Just when the three were in high spirits, the quarrel at the snack stand not far ahead caused a commotion, and the voices were a little familiar. "What are you doing? Don't we know you?" "Hee, we didn't know each other before, but now we do." "Four-eyed guy, get out of here. We just want to get to know this beauty." "Pa. You, how can you hit someone? If you keep doing this, I'll call the police." "Call the police? Do you, little beauty, know who we are?" "Why don't you ask who we are?" Full-on 7 eagles. Eating melons is always the favorite of human beings, even Chen Changliu who has been reborn is no exception. The three squeezed in and saw that they all knew each other. Zhao Lin poked Chen Changliu's belly with his arm and said, "Rogue, you molested the school beauty do today." Chen Changliu was speechless and ignored him. He sounded like a real rogue, but it was a bit surprising to see Du Jiqiu here. 2 groups of people were confronting each other at the snack stand. One group was 5 or 6 hooligans, and the other group was Du Jiqiu, Li Ping, Feng Qian, Chen Changsheng, Jing Chang, and 2 male classmates whose names Chen Changliu could not call out from the next class. It was a bit inappropriate to say that they were confronting each other. It should be that the hooligans were aggressive, and except for Du Jiqiu who was a little calm, the others looked a little timid, and Chen Changsheng and Jing Chang had obvious slap marks on their faces, but the careful Chen Changliu saw Du Jiqiu's little hand that was always grabbing her pants, and he knew that this girl's calmness was pretended. This era was indeed quite chaotic. In the past few years, the Young and Dangerous series made domestic hooligans scramble to imitate, and the charm of idols also turned some children into hooligans. Chapter 5 Girl, do you think I'm handsome? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Changliu and his friends learned about the conflict from the discussions of the people around them, mainly because Li Ping talked about the gangsters a few times, which they heard. Then they saw a top beauty like Du Jiqiu. How could they not tease her a few times? If they ignored her or walked away at this time, it would be fine, but Jing Chang and Chen Changxing didn't know what was wrong with them. They thought that the number of boys on their side was about the same, and they wanted to show a bit of bravery in front of Du Jiqiu, so they argued with the gangsters. Then they were slapped each other. The sudden attack of the gangsters directly scared these students who had not entered society. A group of nerds who usually only knew how to study were directly frightened by the attack of 5 or 6 aggressive gangsters and dared not speak. Instead, Du Jiqiu stood up. Du Jiqiu regretted a little. He regretted that he could not stand the hard work of several classmates and went out to the night market with them. Although he knew that Chen Changsheng and Jing Chang were openly in love with her, she didn't have so many concerns with Li Ping and Feng Qian around, but who knew that she would encounter such a thing? She was now hesitating whether to call her father. At this time, the gangsters were impatient. One of them brought a bottle of beer and said, "Beauty, just accompany us to drink a glass of beer, and today's matter will be over." "How about it, brothers, it's refreshing enough." That the gangsters' words made the students think differently, and they all looked at Du Jiqiu. Du Jiqiu pursed her lips and didn't speak. Just when she was entangled, a voice came over. "I wonder why you guys are so idle today that you actually come to tease my girlfriend. Aren't you giving me too much face?" This sentence was quite lethal, and it made both parties angry. 7 Eagle was called a birdman, and it would be a lie to say that he was not angry. When Du Jiqiu and the other male classmates heard someone say that Du Jiqiu was his girlfriend, they felt that it was simply defiling the goddess in their hearts. The anger that had just been suppressed by the gangsters suddenly came out, and they felt that they were okay again. Everyone looked in the direction where the sound came from, and saw Chen Changliu and the other 2 walking out of the crowd. Everyone at the scene was a little confused. They all knew Zhao Lin and Pang Wei, but who was the tall and handsome boy in the middle? His appearance made the girls' eyes light up. This is a real man, a clean, refreshing, sunny and handsome guy, and he was very different from the men around him. It seems a little familiar. After a closer look, who else could it be but Chen Changliu? But this is too different from the image of Chen Changliu during the day. Feng Qian whispered in surprise. Chen Changliu? Jiqiu, that handsome guy is the Chen Changliu who kissed you during the day, right? Du Jiqiu couldn't help pinching Feng Qian when she heard her words, and said coquettishly, I'm going to die, when did I kiss him? He, I heard that it was all drawn. Feng Qian's words made Du Jiqiu blush even more, and Chen Chongsheng and Jing Chang on the side also heard the conversation between Feng Qian and Du Jiqiu, forgetting the predicament in front of them and the pain on their faces, and looked at Chen Changliu with anger in their eyes. They both saw the scene at school today, and that moment almost broke their hearts. You know, both of them are good students at the school, and Jing Chang is the monitor of Du Jiqiu's class. The two regarded each other as opponents, but who knew that Chen Chongsheng, their half-brother, actually did what they wanted to do in their dreams but dared not do in reality. At that time, the eyes of the two were also the most resentful among all the people present. The two felt that their most beloved things were defiled. The gangsters were originally angry, but they calmed down after seeing Chen Changliu and the other two. It's you three, the gangster, the crocodile, and the giant. Don't call us little birds next time, or I'll be angry. Still angry, come on, if I don't call you little birds, should I call you big birds? That the gangsters were embarrassed when they heard Chen Changliu's words. Once, when they drank with Chen Changliu and went to the water, the comparison between the birds hit them directly. According to them, they are normal people, and Chen Changliu is a beast. From then on, Chen Changliu called them little birds. The conversation between the gangsters confused everyone except Zhao Lin and Pang Wei, but they could see that Chen Changliu was not afraid of these gangsters. Ruffian, we won't argue with you. Which one is your girlfriend? You have to give us an explanation for this matter. You know, they started the fight first. Nonsense, of course the prettiest one is my girlfriend. Humph, did you flirt with her just now? And you want her to drink with you? My fists are a little itchy recently. Hearing Chen Changliu's itchy fists, several gangsters showed fear on their faces. They had fought with Chen Changliu and the other two, and it was terrible, especially the fists of Chen Changliu and Pang Wei, which were heavy and hard. Just when several gangsters had different expressions, Chen Changliu took the beer next to him, poured himself a glass, and poured a glass for the leader of the gangsters. After this glass of wine, today's matter is over, how about it? Okay. After drinking a glass of wine, several gangsters paid the bill and left. From beginning to end, Du Jiqiu and the others could not interrupt, especially Du Jiqiu. Watching Chen Changliu's series of actions, she found that this man was a little different. Compared with the classmates behind her, he was much more mature. Chen Changliu turned around and saw Du Jiqiu still looking at him, with a mean smile on his lips. Girl, when you look at me like this, do you think I'm handsome and you won't be attracted to me? Well, that's right. We are already close to each other anyway. Chen Changliu's words about wanting to be beaten immediately brought Du Jiqiu back to his senses. The embarrassing scenes during the day came to mind again. I don't know why, but today's Chen Changliu could always arouse his emotions. Damn gangster. Who is your son? Who is interested in you? After saying that, he rushed forward and grabbed Chen Changliu's clothes, and then started a violent offensive. As long as he didn't twist it, it wasn't a big problem for Chen Changliu. Instead, he bumped and bumped in the process of resisting, enjoying himself so much that his smile never stopped. Although Du Jiqiu was not a quiet person in school, he was quite lively, but the others had never seen such a Du University beauty, and they were all stunned. Zhao Lin and Pang Wei knew Chen Changliu best and couldn't help but give him a thumbs up, but several male classmates in Du Jiqiu's class were different. Their faces were extremely ugly, especially Chen Chongsheng and Jing Chang, as if their mothers were dead. Chen Changliu found the right opportunity and grabbed both of Du Jiqiu's hands. He had no choice but to do it. Du Jiqiu had already begun to upgrade to screwing. I don't know why women, regardless of size, are born with this skill. Stop, Du University beauty, I surrender, I'll apologize, okay. Du Jiqiu was also very angry. It was not that she was stingy. Although the incident at school was an accidental incident, Chen Changliu squeezed her again and again and even gave her a tongue kiss. No one believed it even if she said it was not intentional. This is why Du Jiqiu is still angry. At this time, Chen Chongsheng stood up and said angrily, Chen Changliu, what are you doing here? Just like people who run away from home, you won't be sleeping in a bridge cave tonight, right? Chen Changsheng's words shocked Du Jiqiu and all of them, and they looked at Chen Changsheng. However, Chen Changsheng was not a fool. If he didn't tell the hidden truth in front of his classmates, he would just have to damage Chen Changliu's image just now. In this era, leaving home people think that those who run away are bad boys. Pang Wei had the most explosive temper. Chen Changsheng, don't you know what dirty things you and your mother have done? Don't worry, you are not a gangster living on the street. I will be unlucky when I see you. Let's go, gangster. With that said, he took Chen Changliu and walked out, leaving only Du Jiqiu and the others. Du Jiqiu thought for a while, then pulled Li Ping and Feng Qian out, saying at the same time, I want to go to Chen Changliu to settle the score, you two go with me. Chen Changsheng, Zheng Chang and the other boys were left messy in the wind. Chapter 6 I smell the milky aroma again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Du Jiqiu and his 3 daughters followed him because they were curious about why Chen Changliu ran away from home, and they also felt safer with Chen Changliu and his friends. When the 3 daughters followed him, Zhao Lin and Pang Wei showed a different kind of enthusiasm, and directly patted their chests and said that they would treat everyone to barbecue. The 2 bowed and scraped to Li Ping and Feng Qian. Although Du Jiqiu was prettier, it was because their brothers had physical contact with her. In their opinion, brothers' wives should not be bullied. Although Li Ping and Feng Qian were not as pretty as Du Jiqiu, they were also beautiful girls from small families, and people were divided into groups. Looking at the 2 best friends who were running around in front of him, Chen Changliu cursed angrily. A guy who forgets his loyalty for the sake of beauty, a pure lackey. Du Jiqiu, who was next to Chen Changliu, heard his words and rolled her eyes at him and said, You are not a good thing either, you stinky hooligan. It's unfair, Du, the school beauty, how many times have you called me a stinky hooligan today? I said it was not intentional, why don't you believe it? Du Jiqiu blushed and said pooh and said, You stuck out your tongue when it was not intentional. Oh, what bad intentions can a tongue have? It just wants to find a mouth to keep warm. So it's not intentional. After saying this, Du Jiqiu became even more restless and started to fight again. She found that when she was in contact with Chen Changliu, her emotions were always controlled. She couldn't talk back, so she had to choose to fight. Auntie, I was wrong, I surrender, okay? I'll let you do whatever you want. The fight finally stopped. Du Jiqiu was a little out of breath, her chest kept rising and falling. This scene was so attractive to Chen Changliu that he blurted out unconsciously. Damn, broad-minded, tolerant. Originally, Du Jiqiu didn't understand what it meant, but when she saw where Chen Changliu's eyes were focused, she reacted immediately. She raised her arms to cover her chest, blushing and scolding, where are you looking? You still say you're not a stinky hooligan. Chen Changliu also felt that he seemed to have done something a bit too much, touched his nose, and said embarrassedly. It's not intentional, beautiful things can always attract people's attention. But Du Jiqiu didn't want to listen to him anymore, and trotted to the barbecue stall. Her face was hot now. She always felt that Chen Changliu's eyes were penetrating, aggressive, as if he wanted to get into her clothes. Everyone sat down, and a small square table was reserved for Chen Changliu and Du Jiqiu. After sitting down, because of the table, the 2 were very close, almost shoulder to shoulder. Chen Changliu smelled the faint milky fragrance on Du Jiqiu again. It seems that only when you are close can you smell this smell. I don't know if this milky fragrance is his body fragrance or other reasons, but this smell is very attractive to Chen Changliu. Chen Changliu muttered, I will ask her if she has body fragrance when I have a chance in the future. In fact, although the 6 people are not in the same class at school, they all know each other, so there is not much restraint. After sitting down, they began to inquire about Chen Changliu's running away from home. They are not kicking someone when he is down or watching a joke, but in this era, running away from home is indeed a rare and major event, and it is normal to want to know about it. Pang Wei and Zhao Lin wanted to chat with the beauties for a while. When they saw that they were interested in something, they started to talk about it endlessly. The 3 girls suddenly realized that there was such a reason for Chen Changliu's running away from home. However, they understood it after thinking about it. After all, Chen Changsheng was in their class. the clothes and expenses of the two brothers Chen Changliu and Chen Changxing in school are completely different, and anyone with a discerning eye can see it. They always wear 20 yuan Huili sneakers, while Chen Changxing wears 200 or 300 yuan Li Ning. Chen Changxing rides a new princess bicycle worth more than 200 yuan, while Chen Changliu rides a broken bicycle with 26 turns. Du Jiqiu looked at Chen Changliu. He felt that this boy was very strong. In this environment, his personality was very cheerful and he did not have that kind of inferiority complex. Chen Changliu did not see that kind of contempt from the three girls. It seems that the three of them can get along well and their values are still relatively good. This made Chen Changliu sigh that many students in this era still retain their innocence, unlike later generations, where many people have been competing with each other since elementary school, whose shoes are more expensive, whose shoes are more beautiful, and whose family has a better car. After entering junior high school and high school, it is even more unbearable. At this time, barbecue and beer came up. Chen Changliu said that the tuition for college has been solved, and then immediately diverted the topic, except for Du Jiqiu who doesn't drink, the other two women don't mind. After 2 glasses of wine, the relationship between the few people is more harmonious. Zhao Lin and Pang Wei, the 2 best friends, can only choose to betray their brothers for women. After taking out his previous bad things and exaggerating them, they also caused several women to laugh continuously, but Chen Changliu was thick-skinned and didn't feel anything, seeing that Du Jiqiu, who was sitting next to him, had not eaten many skewers of barbecue. Chen Changliu put a skewer of lamb on his plate and asked curiously, "Why don't you eat? Is it because you don't like it?" Du Jiqiu shook his head. No, I had dinner at night. I'm not hungry now. Eating more will make you fat. Chen Changliu said, "It's okay, eat whatever you want. If you get fat, we can do exercise together to lose weight." Du Jiqiu felt that this sentence was a bit strange. Well, it seemed wrong with Chen Changliu's tone, but she couldn't figure it out, so she had to change the subject and asked, "Which school did you apply for?" "Lingnan University of Finance and Economics." "What about you?" "Lingnan Zhongda." "What a coincidence, we are in the same city. When we go to school, we will be fellow villagers meeting each other." Feng Qian, who was sitting next to Du Jiqiu, heard Chen Changliu's words and looked at him with a strange look, teasing. "Why, hooligan, do you want to meet our fellow villagers Jiqiu and shoot him in the back?" Feng Qian's words made the other people laugh, and Du Jiqiu went to cover her mouth. If it was the old Chen Changliu, he would definitely blush at this time, but the current Chen Changliu was reborn and experienced, so this was nothing. He gave Feng Qian a thumbs up and said, "Feng Qian, I didn't expect that you, who looks pure, are so dirty. I couldn't see it before. Hey, compared to you, I feel that I am too pure. Come on, your nickname is a hooligan, and it's really not wrong. You flirted with our Jiqiu again and again today. Do you think I don't know? But then again, you bastard seems to have changed a lot from before, and you talk in a set way. TSK, brother warns you, don't be interested in me, otherwise you will be addicted to my charm. Let me tell you, I am someone you can't understand, and you can't get me." Ha ha ha! That everyone laughed again, and Du Jiqiu, who was sitting next to him, patted his arm and laughed. Du Jiqiu poked Chen Changliu and whispered, "I seem to remember that there are student loans now. If you need it, I can help you ask." Chen Changliu looked at Du Jiqiu unexpectedly. It is still more troublesome to apply for student loans in this era. Chen Changliu can see her sincerity from her expression. He smiled and said, "Thank you, no thanks. I have made a plan to earn back the tuition during the summer vacation." Hearing Chen Changliu say that he earned tuition, she was very curious. Few high school students in this era still work during the summer vacation, and she was not a rookie. She knew how much an ordinary job paid now. "What plan can you use to earn enough tuition during the summer vacation? Can you tell me about it?" Hearing Du Jiqiu's words, Chen Changliu's eyes suddenly lit up. He looked at her up and down a few times, which made Du Jiqiu feel a little awkward. The more Chen Changliu looked, the brighter his eyes became. He had an idea in his mind. Chapter 7, Tricking the School Beauty into Setting Up a Stall at the Night Market. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Come on, Miss Do, let's have barbecue. Beauty do, these leeks are good, nourishing and nourishing the kidneys. Here, have a drink. Chen Changliu suddenly became attentive. One moment he would bring a barbecue for Du Jiqiu, the next moment he would ask her if there was anything else she wanted to eat, and the next moment he would offer her a drink. He was now even more of a loser than Zhao Lin and Pang Wei just now. His attentiveness made Du Jiqiu embarrassed, while several other people were making noises, thinking that Chen Changliu was launching a fierce attack on Du Jiqiu. Stop, Chen Changliu, what are you planning again? Don't think I didn't see your eyes rolling around. I can tell you, you'd better not have any dirty thoughts. Is it so obvious? Hey, Du University Beauty, now that you have filled out your application, there should be nothing wrong next, right? I would like to ask you to know someone who is well educated, gentle and virtuous, as graceful as a giant, as beautiful as a fairy, gentle and pleasant, with pink makeup and jade, a beautiful woman, a beautiful country, a natural beauty, a orchid, intelligent as ice and snow, kind-hearted, and reasonable. Stop, Chen Changliu, speak human words. Before Chen Changliu could finish his flattery, he was interrupted by Du Jiqiu. If this bastard used one or two of these adjectives to praise her, she would still be happy, but using so many of them to describe her made her blush. Ha ha ha! Zhao Lin and the others smiled unkindly, because they had been paying attention to the two of them since Chen Changliu's doggy service to Du Jiqiu. After all, one was the center of the girls and the other was the center of the best friend. They couldn't help but laugh when they heard Chen Changliu's many non-repetitive adjectives. Du Jiqiu couldn't help laughing. She felt that Chen Changliu was a scoundrel, but she didn't hate him at all. Go, what are you causing trouble? I'm just trying to ask the campus beauty of Du University for help. Whether I can go to college depends on her help. When he said this, several women became interested. Just tell me, I will definitely help if I can. Chen Changliu pointed to the night market in the distance and said, help me sell clothes at night and give you 50 yuan a day. How about that? This is what Chen Ziliu suddenly thought of just now. There are so many tofu bean curds and pork bean curds in later generations, as well as various internet celebrity boyfriends wearing cool clothes, and their business is extremely good. This is the appeal of good looks and sex appeal. With Du Jiqiu's good looks, as his clothes salesperson and model, he could definitely kill an entire night market. After all, he is 1.72 meters tall, has exquisite facial features, and his lethality is absolutely explosive. Is your plan to set up a stall and sell clothes at the night market to make money during the summer vacation? Yes, Crocodile and Panda will also help me. Originally, I wasn't that confident. As long as I have your help, I will be more confident that I can use my 2-month summer vacation to earn this year's college tuition and living expenses. Hearing Chen Changliu's confident words, Du Jiqiu thought for a moment and said, okay, I agree, but I don't want your money, just to accumulate social experience. Refreshingly, you are indeed one of the top 3 best students in our number 15 middle school. Come on, let me toast you. Not only Chen Changliu was happy, Zhao Lin and Pang Wei were also excited. After all, the most dazzling flower in number 15 middle school agreed to go to the night market with them to sell clothes. This was exciting to think about. At this time, Feng Qian said quietly. Chen Changliu, why didn't you invite the two of us? We can also help. Didn't you just ignore us because we didn't know how beautiful Jiqiu was? Humph, man, there really isn't a good person. Hey, how dare you? My fault. In the end, Li Ping and Feng Qian also joined the team. All 3 women said they did not want to be paid. Chen Changliu would not fight with them now, but would just give it to them when the time came. He doesn't care about Zhao Lin and Pang Wei. After all, they have been best friends since childhood. They can settle down with just a barbecue and beer. They may not be happy if they are given money. After all, their families are not short of such money. Thinking that on the first day after his rebirth, Chen Changliu felt very accomplished when he tricked the most beautiful school beauty in the history of number 15 middle school to set up a stall. A total of 1 box of beer was drunk, mostly by Chen Changliu and the others. Feng Qian and Li Ping drank more than half of the bottle in 2 years, and Du Jiqiu only drank 2 glasses. However, the faces of the 3 women were flushed and even more so. Tempting, not to mention Du Jiqiu, Ziajiabiyu like Feng Qian and Li Ping were even more charming at this time, attracting Zhao Lin and Pang Wei to keep peeking at them. Du Jiqiu, who was already extremely beautiful, had a hint of charm added to her innocence and cuteness, which made even Huatsong veteran Chen Changliu sigh. Zhao Lin's bill was just over 100 yuan for 6 people to eat and drink, which would not be possible in future generations without 300 to 500 yuan. It was almost 10 o'clock in the evening. After a brief inquiry, I discovered that the 3 women went home in different directions. Chen Changliu did not ask for their opinions, but said decisively, "It is not safe for you to go home on your own at this point. Crocodile, you send Li Ping, Pang Pang, you send Feng Qian, and I send Du Jiqiu." Chen Changliu's words were overbearing, but no one had any objections. Feng Qian even joked before leaving, "Chen Changliu, remember to send our Jiqiu home safely. Don't continue drawing." Xiao Qian. While Du Jiqiu stamped his feet shyly, several others left with smiles, leaving only Chen Ziliu, who was watching the fun and not taking it too seriously, with a smile on his face. Looking at the shy Du Jiqiu, Chen Changliu found that the most dazzling flower in the 15th year actually had such a lovely side. "Let's go, they are all far away. Even if you stomp a hole in the ground, they can't see it." Du Jiqiu glanced at Chen Changliu unhappily and walked in one direction. The breeze blew gently on the summer night. Chen Changliu smelled the faint milk fragrance and looked up to see the stars in the night sky, the breeze, the streets, the pedestrians. He felt extremely comfortable. Suddenly he had no desire to speak. He just wanted to enjoy the peace of mind at this moment. The prodigal son in the previous life returned to high school and walked on the street with the school beauty. His heart actually calmed down. If he told him in the previous life, he really wouldn't believe it. Du Jiqiu felt very strange. Why didn't Chen Changliu say a word? Didn't he talk a lot just now? Turning her head over, she found that the corners of Chen Changliu's mouth were upturned, as if he was smiling, and his eyes looked so bright and deep in the dim light at night. She found that Chen Changliu had a temperament that he didn't have just now or during the day. She didn't know how to describe it, but she felt very comfortable. Du Jiqiu's heart suddenly jumped, and his heartbeat also accelerated a lot. Neither of them spoke. Du Jiqiu's home was not far from the night market street, and it took less than 10 minutes to get there. Seeing the gate of the community from a distance, Du Jiqiu turned to look at Chen Changliu, smiled and said, "Chen Changliu, this is my mobile phone number, you are ready to call me." As he said, he took out a phone book from the small bag on his back, tore off a piece of paper and handed it to him. Chen Changliu took it, folded it in half and put it in his pocket. "Okay, Du de Campus Flower, I thank you first. I think we should be friends now. Don't call me Du de Campus Flower, it's so ugly, just call me by my name." "Okay. I'm here." At this time, Chen Changliu realized that he had arrived at the gate of a community, the family area of the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China. "Okay, go in, 88. 88. After watching Du Jiqiu disappear from his sight, Chen Changliu walked back down the street toward the hotel. Chapter 8 Couple Outfits. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Back at the inn, after taking a shower, Chen Changliu lay on the bed. He didn't think about Du Jiqiu. Although he seemed to be very close to Du Jiqiu today, Chen Ziliu was not arrogant enough to think that Du Jiqiu would like him. After all, he had never heard of any male classmates she was close to in her 3 years of high school. She is not aloof, and is quite cheerful, but she keeps a distance from her male classmates. Besides, Chen Changliu is self-aware that he is not Grandpa Mao and everyone likes him. Who am I now? Why do I think that I have been reborn and every woman will fall in love with me? That is nonsense. His most important task now is to make money. As a person who has been there, he knows that without money, you are nothing, worse than a dog. There are so many fair and just insults in later generations. You can't even eat as much as my dog. Your life is not worth more than my dog's life. Why do such bullshit things happen? It's not that in the eyes of ordinary people, money is often more important than anything else. Chen Changliu didn't get up until 9 o'clock the next morning. Today's task was to find the source of goods. He put on his only set of casual clothes. Although they were all street vendor goods, with his height, appearance, frame, and temperament, he really looked like a model when he wasn't talking. This cheap street vendor product also looked high-end. And because of his rebirth, his temperament looks much more mature than his appearance. Guangnan City also has a clothing wholesale market, which is located in the Heping Mall in the city center. When Chen Changliu took the bus to the Heping Mall, there was already a lot of people. He did not rush to bargain, but walked around and listened. He would see which stores had styles that matched his, and listen to other people's offers and bargains. He would record these in the small book he held in his hand. After selecting a few stores, Chen Changliu started making inquiries. "Boss, how much do these clothes and pants cost? What's the lowest price? I just came to take a look. I don't know the price. Do you mind if I go to other places to ask? Anyway, if your place is the cheapest, I will come back to buy it. The stall with the same clothes as yours just now only sold 16 yuan. Now you sell 18 yuan. Let me go shopping again." After inquiring about the several shops he selected, Chen Changliu finally selected a stall called Sister Li's Wholesale. "Sister, please give me a real price. Your t-shirt is a bit high at 16 yuan. If you sell it at the night market, it will only cost you 20 yuan. You won't even make any profit. Brother, the price I'm offering you here is very low. I don't need to tell you about the quality you chose. I can give it to you for 12 bucks over there, but you don't want it. Sister, please give it a little less. I am a student working on a work-study program during the summer, so you have to earn some for me." Okay, I'm afraid of you. How much can you ask for? I don't know if it's easy to sell. I need 25 pairs of t-shirts and 20 pairs of jeans. It's a little less, but I've been setting up a stall all summer and I'll be asking you to buy them from now on. T-shirt is 15, these jeans are 25 for you, real price. 12 and 20. Little brother, I have never seen you bargaining like this. You are bargaining like this. I can only drink the northwest wind. In the end, Chen Changliu forced Sister Li to get his favorite clothes and pants at prices of 15 and 24, although Sister Li said she sold it to him for flat money, he didn't believe it at all. She could definitely earn more than 3 yuan for each piece of clothing, but she didn't get much, so she had no bargaining power. Chen Changliu thought about out-of-code and out-of-stock items. These clothes can be bought by the pound, but now he has too little capital to find them. After purchasing the goods, his net worth of 968 yesterday was only 40 yuan, it was already 3 p.m. when he returned to the hotel. He had a quick lunch, called for a crocodile, went to the scrap market and bought a 2-meter folding table for a stall, a piece of cloth, and some odds and ends. The pockets are empty. After preparing everything, he called Du Jiqiu. He commandeered Crocodile's motorcycle, took a t-shirt and a pair of jeans, and went directly to the gate of her community. After waiting for a few minutes, Du Jiqiu came out. She was still so beautiful, and her return rate was 100%. TSK, you're still so pretty. I just saw someone fall down because they were riding a bike and turned to look at you. Hey, tell me, are you a disaster? Hearing Chen Changliu's exaggerated praise, Du Jiqiu was angry and funny. Fuck you, I found that you are fine when you don't speak, but when you speak, you seem to be a different person. Like a good person. Hey, how do you know my mouth is oily and my tongue is slippery? Just after he made a joke, he saw that Du Jiqiu, who was blushing, was about to pinch him again, so he quickly said. Here, this is for you. Our stall will open tonight. I will pick you up at 7 o'clock. You will wear this outfit and white sneakers. Du Jiqiu asked in surprise, are you so fast? What are you talking about? What do you mean I am fast? You haven't tried it before. that what Chen Changliu blurted out was purely influenced by driving in his previous life, but Du Jiqiu didn't know that. On the way back home, she still felt strange that Chen Ziliu's words were completely wrong. There aren't many people driving in this era, so it's not like in later generations when junior high school students were extremely proficient in driving. On the evening of June 27, 2003, Chen Changliu's street stall started. At 7 o'clock in the evening, everyone gathered. Pang Wei got 2 clad models from nowhere, which made Chen Ziliu dumbfounded. Although their small stall did not need to be used, it was better than nothing. Du Jiqiu's 3 girls also arrived one after another, especially Du Jiqiu. She wore a ponytail, a bag on her shoulder, a pair of 9-point straight jeans on her lower body, and a simple white t-shirt on her upper body, with a cartoon picture on her chest and the front hem tucked into her pants. Wearing a pair of white sneakers on her feet, her energetic figure matches her stunning face. It can be said that the youthful, lively, innocent and beautiful girl side is vividly expressed. Chen Changliu knew that she was beautiful, but the impact of Du Jiqiu dressed like this on him was still too strong. But when Du Jiqiu appeared, everyone was stunned, including Du Jiqiu himself, because they found that Chen Changliu and Du Jiqiu were wearing very similar styles and colors. Feng Qian asked curiously, "Jiqiu, this outfit of yours and Chen Changliu's matches well. Where did you buy it?" Du Jiqiu's face turned red and he said, "I don't know either, he gave it to me." Li Ping, who was standing by, asked with a gossipy face, "Chen Changliu gave it to me. What's your relationship? You've already given me clothes." "What? What does it have to do with it? Didn't we say we were going to help him? So he said he needed it to set up a stall at night, so I wore it." "What's the point?" Chen Changliu was helpless. Why are these young ladies so unreliable? Are we here to set up stalls or just gossip? He could only stand up and say, "Okay, young ladies, Du Jiqiu and I are wearing the clothes we are going to sell tonight. I define them as couple clothes. Don't think too much about it. Today, Du Jiqiu and I are just showing off the models. How about it? I have a good eye for it, right? With the support of the 2 of us, I shouldn't have to worry about selling it, right?" Yes, Chen Changliu's purchase this time was based on the idea of couple costumes. This was the purpose of tricking Du Jiqiu into setting up a stall with him. After hearing Chen Changliu's words, several people finally stopped worrying about why Du Jiqiu accepted Chen Changliu's clothes. However, they really felt that Chen Changliu had good taste. When wearing these clothes, the man was sunny and handsome, and the woman was youthful and beautiful. They are more interested in the concept of couple costumes. In this era, the concept of couple costumes is not very popular. Zhao Lin and Pang Wei's eyes flickered, and they kept looking at Feng Qian and Li Ping. Chen Changliu knew what they were planning by looking at their movements. While chatting and laughing, the stall was quickly set up. Chapter 9: A Good Start. I Have a Plan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Ziliu wrote the price on a piece of cardboard. Direct sales from the manufacturer: T-shirt 28, jeans 45, 1 set 65, 2 sets 120. The price is a few yuan higher than others, but Chen Changliu is not worried. After all, no one in the whole night market has come up with the gimmick of couples outfits. He is the only one, and he and Du Jiqiu have added value. It is okay to be a few yuan more expensive. Soon, Chen Changliu and his stall became the place with the highest rate of returning visitors in the whole night market. There is no way. The man and woman standing in front of the stall, the man is sunny and handsome, the woman is young and beautiful, and one is 1.72 meters tall and the other is 1.83 meters tall. Both of them are model-level heights. It is hard not to have a rate of returning visitors when they stand there. Couple outfits are sold directly from the manufacturer, 65 yuan per set, limited supply, first come, first served. Du Jiqiu was a little embarrassed. Although she was used to being noticed by others, it was different now. Now she was setting up a stall, especially when Chen Changliu shouted like that. She wanted to find a corner to hide. It was too embarrassing. It was impossible for her to shout too, so she could only stand aside silently, but her rosy face was even more attractive under the light. Chen Changliu's shouting soon attracted a couple in their early 20s. From the way they kept holding hands, it was clear that they were in love. "Boss, what couple outfit? Isn't this just ordinary jeans and t-shirts?" "You too, this is different. This is carefully selected and matched. As long as you two wear it together, everyone will know that you are in a relationship. Have you seen anything like this in other places? And the quality is absolutely first class. But yours is too expensive. T-shirts in other places only cost 20 yuan. Friend, we really don't make much money from you, because we pick them one by one, so the purchase price is also expensive. Other stores buy them in piles, so it must be cheaper." That when Chen Changliu said this, the young man stopped bargaining. After all, it was a bit embarrassing to keep bargaining in front of his new girlfriend. As the young couple came over, two more couples also came over, but under the dim light, it was unclear whether these young couples were looking at clothes or Chen Changliu and Du Jiqiu. Chen Changliu's stall successfully sold the first order, which was the first couple who came. The two of them bought 2 sets directly, for a total of 120 yuan. Du Jiqiu was unable to help and had already run into the stall, leaving only Chen Changliu standing in front of the stall, because there were too many people, and now there was no need to use her beauty to attract the attention of the crowd visiting the night market. After all, there were quite a few people around here, and there were gimmick signs such as couple outfits hanging above their heads, as well as Chen Changliu's. Shouting, regardless of whether they wanted to buy clothes or just wanted to come here to shop, as long as they had boyfriends and girlfriends, they were still very interested in the 3 words couple outfits, and Zhao Lin and the other 4 were just 4 soy sauce people, hiding behind the stall and unable to help, so they could only help to see if anyone was stealing. The 5 people looked at the man who was greeting customers, explaining the characteristics of the clothes to customers, and how to deal with customers bargaining with strange eyes. Sometimes they complimented the other party for being handsome and beautiful, and sometimes they said aggrievedly that they didn't make much money, all hard-earned money. Feng Qian asked curiously, "How come Chen Changliu is so skilled? Has he sold clothes before?" Zhao Lin shook his head. "No, the gangster has never sold clothes, and I don't know where he got the experience. I think he is familiar with the business." "Hey, why do I feel that we are redundant?" "That's right, we originally said that we would help him earn enough money for college, but now, hey," that the others discussed one after another. Only Du Jiqiu didn't speak. She stared at the big boy whose smile never disappeared from his face. This was another side of him. She thought to herself. What is he really like? What kind of person is he? Why are his eyes so deep when he is quiet, as if he has experienced a lot of things, but when he talks to me, he is smooth-talking and always likes to take advantage of me. Although there is a flash of surprise in his eyes occasionally, he does not have the kind of fascination that other male classmates have. But now, he can face different customers skillfully, and switch between smiles and frowns freely. Mysterious man. The stall business is unexpectedly good. In less than 2 hours, only 4 t-shirts and 2 jeans are left of the 45 clothes that came in today. Chen Changliu, who was dry-mouthed, drank half a bottle of mineral water in one breath and said, closing the stall, "This is it tonight, let's go for a midnight snack." That the other 5 people looked at each other. Is this the end of their first day of stall training? It seems that I have done nothing. Rogue, aren't there still some that haven't been sold out? No, there are only a few left and it's hard to sell them. Let's stop here. Oh, so that's it. Then they suddenly realized and went forward to help close the stall. Not long after, they sat in a porridge shop and food stall. Chen Changliu ordered a pot of seafood porridge and a pot of pigeon porridge, and took a few bottles of beer. The beer came first, and the 6 of them drank a glass of cold beer together. Chen Changliu felt comfortable all over, and all the pores in his body opened up. It's really a pleasure to drink cold beer in a food stall in summer. It's really not so cool if you go into a private room. After a glass of beer, Pang Wei couldn't wait to ask, "Rogue, see how much money you sold tonight?" That if someone he didn't know asked such a question, Chen Changliu would not bother to answer him, but since it was his best friend who asked, he didn't think it was a big deal. Chen Changliu took out the money in his pocket. Fortunately, he didn't get much money. Most of them were 10, 20 and 50 denominations. It was troublesome not to have mobile payment in this era. After counting, he sold a total of 1,187 yuan. In addition to the remaining clothes, he also made more than 300 yuan. When several people knew that Chen Changliu had made more than 300 yuan in less than 2 hours, their faces were full of surprise and shock. In just 2 hours, he earned almost a month's salary of an ordinary waiter. This was a bit exaggerated. Everyone's face was moved, especially Feng Qian and Li Ping. Du Zhiqiu's family conditions were very good, and a few hundred yuan was really nothing, but she was shocked by Chen Changliu's ability. However, Chen Changliu knew very well that this was only temporary, and he would soon follow suit. This would not work, but this was just his first step, which was used to boost confidence. As you can see, selling clothes at the night market can help me earn money for college during the summer vacation. Haven't you ever thought about earning your own tuition and living expenses for college? Chen Changliu's words made the other 5 people look at him, and their faces suddenly showed eagerness to try. Seeing everyone looking at him, Chen Changliu continued. I have a plan that will allow you to earn your own tuition during the summer vacation. What do you think? Do you want to listen? Chapter 10. There is a big deal. Do you want to do it? You are listening at novelfull.audio. When everyone heard Chen Changliu say that he had a plan that would allow them to earn tuition fees, they looked at him with curiosity. They were still very excited about this proposal. Who didn't want to make money during the summer vacation and slapped him in front of his father and said, I earned it? Chen Changliu stopped trying to be too pretentious and continued. You have seen the business tonight, and I don't need to say more, but this gimmick cannot be used for a long time. When buying clothes at the night market, you usually choose the ones with high cost performance. With my current volume, I don't have enough bargaining power when purchasing goods. If you join, our purchasing price will be lower and we can make more money, and this is just the first step. Next we need to mobilize more students to help us sell. As Chen Changliu continued talking, not only Zhao Lin and Pang Wei, but also the eyes of the 3 women became brighter and brighter, and the way they looked at Chen Changliu was different. As soon as Chen Changliu's proposal was made, the 2 best friends immediately agreed. I'm joining. I'm joining. By the time the porridge was served, everyone had reached an agreement, and the other 5 people each paid 1,000 yuan to join. Thank you for your trust, but the dirty talk comes first. I want to account for 30% of the total profit. It's not that I want to take advantage of you. I personally think I have more experience than you in purchasing goods, selecting styles, etc. Is that okay? As soon as Chen Changliu finished speaking, Zhao Lin and Pang Wei continued to support him unconditionally. I'm fine. That's okay with me too. The 3 girls all agreed without hesitation. After seeing everyone agree, Chen Changliu smiled. He was not unfounded. He should be a villain first and a gentleman later, so that there would be no disputes later. Chen Changliu served a bowl of porridge to each of the 5 people. After everyone filled up the wine, Chen Changliu raised his glass and said, Celebrate our happy cooperation. I believe you won't regret it after 2 months. You can definitely earn as much as you can in the first year. The tuition fee will surprise your parents, but before we finalize the supply of goods, we will divide into 3 groups to set up stalls in the intervening days to accumulate experience. Is that okay? How can any of you have any opinions at this time? Of course there is no problem. Cheers. Cheers. When the midnight snack is finished, everyone has already divided their work. Starting from tomorrow, everyone will be divided into 3 groups and set up stalls in 3 locations. Chen Changliu and Du Zhiqiu are on a team, Zhao Lin and Li Ping are on a team, and Pang Wei and Feng Qian are on a team. It can be said that the combination of men and women can work together without tiring, and at the same time, they can better protect girls. After sending the 3 girls home, Chen Changliu and the others got together again, taking advantage of the fact that it was not yet 11 o'clock, so they could check out the spot. At 12 o'clock in the evening, when Chen Changliu returned to the hotel, the 3 stall locations for tomorrow had been confirmed. Lying on the bed, Chen Changliu thought about the whole thing again. Why did he bring a few of them along while only taking 30% of the profits? It was not because of his overflowing Holy Virgin, he thought that he could not mobilize so many classmates. After all, this was also based on trust, and I don't have so much capital. Even if I can negotiate with others, it's impossible not to have a deposit. Obviously, the deposit cannot be 1,000 yuan. So he might as well bring his best friends and do jiqiu, a few girls who are not bad at heart and have thought about helping him to make money together. Don't let the rich water go to outsiders. Besides, with the same investment capital, he has already enjoyed 30% of the profits, which is okay. There was nothing to say all night. When Chen Changliu got all the money from the 5 people the next day, it was already 10:30 in the morning. With a huge sum of 6,000 yuan in his hand, he took Zhao Lin and Pang Wei and rushed directly to Heping Shopping Mall, its sister Li's stall again. When Chen Changliu arrived, she was greeting customers. Chen Changliu didn't bother her. He just looked at the clothes and communicated with Zhao Lin and Pang Wei from time to time. 20 minutes later, after Sister Li sent the client away, she finally paid attention to Chen Changliu. "Brother, are you bringing your friends to help my sister with her business?" Chen Changliu did not answer her directly, but asked directly, "Sister, I will give you a real price for the quality of yesterday's 200 t-shirts and 150 pairs of pants." Sister Li was a little surprised when she heard Chen Changliu's words, and then she was happy. An order of hundreds of clothes was considered a big order. After bargaining, the final price was set at 13 yuan for t-shirts and 22 yuan for jeans. This time, Chen Changliu also chose more styles, so that buyers can have more choices. After clearing the money and goods, Chen Changliu asked Sister Li, "Sister, do you want to do a big business?" Sister Li was a little curious. "What big business is this? Have you ever run out of stock?" "What, you want to get rid of the coat-tail goods?" "Yes, we have a dozen or 20 classmates who also want to do it with us. When the time comes, we will go to the township market down below or set up a street stall on the roadside at night. The quantity cannot be small." Sister Li's eyes lit up when she heard Chen Changliu's words. Another stall of hers had sold out goods. If there were really so many people selling together, the quantity would definitely be indispensable. Even if 1 or 2 yuan was earned from one piece of clothing, it would be so if multiple people sell at the same time. You can definitely make a lot of money every day. "Yes, do you want to see it now?" Chen Changliu's eyes lit up, but there was no time now. "Tomorrow, we don't have enough time now, but there is a problem. Sister, if we want to meet the sales volume for so many of us, we only have about 10,000 yuan in capital, and the purchase may not be enough. After all, we are students and cannot afford it. So much money, do you think we can pay a deposit first, and settle the bill for you after the sale? We can sign an IOU, and our ID cards and student ID cards can also be deposited with you. We can run away, but monks can't run away from the temple, don't you think so?" This time Sister Li thought for a long time before making up her mind. "Come over tomorrow to talk." After Chen Changliu exchanged the crocodile mobile phone number with Sister Li, he, Zhao Lin and Pang Wei left with their clothes. During the whole process, Zhao Lin and Pang Wei didn't speak, they just watched silently. When they left Heping Shopping Mall, they couldn't hold it in any longer. "Rogue, what are out-of-code and out-of-stock products? How can we have so many people setting up stalls? And why do we have to press ID cards and student ID cards? I'll go back and talk to my parents and borrow some from them first." That's it. Looking at the two best friends who were full of curiosity, Chen Changliu didn't hide it. "Crocodile, no need. Judging from Sister Li's attitude, the problem shouldn't be big, and I don't want adults to get involved. After all, we can solve it best ourselves. The last-minute goods and off-size clothing are very cheap. I have heard people say that in the past 2 years, the last-minute goods in Lingnan province were sold by the pound or by the car. You agreed on how much a car would cost and you could load as much as you could. But now I heard that there are more people selling tail goods there, and the prices are not that cheap. However, t-shirts are as low as 3 or 5 yuan a piece, and the most expensive ones are basically no more than 10 yuan. Jeans, casual pants, etc. are also much cheaper than our current purchase price. It's just that none of us have been to Lingnan province, and we don't have that much money to go to clothing factories to find sources of goods. We can only get them from people like Sister Lee. Although we have a second hand, they are still very cheap. If we can purchase goods at very low prices, the more classmates we have to help sell goods, the more we will earn. Think about it, if we go to the market down below and sell it every 3 days in the towns, one piece costs 15 yuan, and 2 pieces cost 25 yuan. Do you think we can sell it well? With so many surrounding towns and villages, how big is the market? And in Guangnan City, we don't just have to go to the night market to sell, we can also sell on the roadside where there is a lot of traffic at night. If we can attract more people to help us sell, then we can make more money. Remember, in this world, we can't make much money by working hard by ourselves. Only by letting others help us make money can we make big money. Zhao Lin and Pang Wei were stunned when they heard Chen Changliu's long speech. They began to be confused about their best friend. Is this the same gangster who used to brag and fight with them, chasing chickens and chasing dogs?